Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from. I'd like to say a pleasant welcome to you all. It's an honor to be back here again. We were here last week, Friday. And if you are new here, I'd like to say welcome to the Career Hour. This is a show where we discuss career talks, we educate people on how to plan and develop their career. So we are going to take a very short break, and when we get back, our panelists gonna introduce themselves along with our guest. So please stay tuned and don't switch. Okay, welcome back to the Career Hour. My name is Aronika G. Minor. I'm a Liberian and I based in Rwanda and I studied accounting. So I like to say welcome again to the Career Show. If you are just joining us, I would like to say welcome. And I'll allow my panelists to introduce themselves and then we'll take our guest.
Okay, thank you very much, Aronika. My name is Elijah Dennis, one of the panelists of tonight's show. So I want to say welcome, wherever you are calling us. This time I want to say welcome to the team. Let's talk career, let's talk life changing process. Today we have our guest, pretty for the seaters to discuss and carry on through the topic on discussion. Uh, the importance on career planning for the society. So I want to say thank you, and let's stick to the discussion tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elijah. So we're gonna take on the next panelist. Kindly introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, everyone. Orita Kese, or Liberian living in Rwanda, studying at the Kigali Independent University, studying computer science.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Well, to the viewer, this is Sharif Mohammed, economist, and also the Secretary General of Liberian Community in the United Arab Emirates. Your humble servant, and I'm delighted to be here tonight, where we can have interactive discussions with our guests, and also open up the line for the viewers to participate into an educative and informative discussions. Thank you so much. I'm Sharif Mohammed again, once again. Thank you.
So we are going to take our guest right now to introduce himself. Can you please introduce yourself?
Well, first of all, I want to say I am really, really, really grateful to be on this platform. My name is Emmanuel Melvin Tape. I'm an educator, practicing education. To some, I'm a coach. To others, a mentor. And to few, all of the above. So, like I said, I'm really, really excited to be on this platform this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to say thank you for honoring our invitation. And thank you so much for being here tonight with us as we're about to discuss about career. So today edition we are going to be talking about the impact of the rightful choice or choices you make with your career. How does it affect society? So we are going to stay tight and allow our guests to take us through the show in that topic.
Okay, well, before I continue, like I said, I'm delighted, most delighted to be on the exchange. Actually, the invitation reached me through our brother, who's a brother and friend to me, Mr. Mohammed Sharif. And I also had a chance to interact for some few minutes with brother, brother Elijah and the rest of the hosts. I want to say it is a privilege and I'm honored to be on the exchange. Well, talking about career and its impact on society as a whole, firstly, we are going to talk about what a career is. Because in order to talk about the impact of a rightful career choice on society, people must first understand what career is. Now, I would describe career as um, a particular occupation or an area of operation in which one has acquired the necessary educational or vocational trainings and skills that are required, or more like an area of calling wherein one has the necessary power and control. Passion may come in later when you're making a career choice, but that is what career is in a nutshell. So now that we all know what career is, I want us to look at why is career important? Because knowing what career is is far different from understanding the importance of career or making a career choice. Firstly, you have to know, or you have to have full knowledge of the importance of career before making a career, before picking something that you want to follow, a path that you want to follow as a life work. So, career is important not because some will say it is a roadmap to a person's future, but most importantly, career is it's what gives you as an individual, it's what gives you a purpose, a life purpose, a reason to go on, a reason to want to live. When you have a career, it gives you a sense of significance and purpose. And not just that, it enables you. Career is so important that it enables you as a person to be able to effectively contribute positively to society. I mean, like literally giving back to society. Because I said positively because you don't want to have a career that is going to make you to send out negativity. That will not be a career. Your career should be something that affects the people around you and those you interact with on a daily basis. It should affect them, and society as a whole, it should affect them positively. So career not just give you a sense of purpose or allow you to contribute to society, but it also helps you to make informed, sound choices and decisions. Because when a person is career oriented, he or she makes calculated decisions. Every step or decision the person takes, you find out that it walks in line with who or what they want to become or who they already are. So that is why career really, really is important. Now, I want us to look at career planning before we can actually get to the impact of picking a career. How does it positively impact society? Career planning is basically the process of, or a process in which an individual is able to discover or take on educational training and professional opportunities that suits his or her interests, passions, or goals. Now, if you as a person, you before you want to set out looking for a job, there are two major things you have to take into consideration. Number one, you have to consider setting long term goals. Not just long term goals, but long term goals that are achievable. What you don't want to do is you don't want to set a goal that it's near impossible or automatically impossible to achieve. For example, if you if you have a if you have the intention or if you have the dream or the aspiration of becoming, let's say, a medical doctor, the first thing you have to do is you are going to set a long-term goal on how to make that dream come true, and how you're going to plan to go about that. So you are going to set up a long-term goal. If it's going to take you 5 years or 6 years or 7 or 8 years, you are going to be able to set a goal within that time frame. You don't want to set a goal to obtain a degree in medicine by saying, okay, for example, I can or I must be able to get a degree in 2 years, which will not be possible. So the timeline and the time frame will not coincide with what you want to achieve. So you want to set up your long-term goal and make sure it is achievable, because without long-term goals, it becomes very, very difficult for a person to have a perfect or a well-planned career. And not just that, the next thing and most important thing you want to do as an individual after you have set up your long-term goals, those things that you want to do, like um, in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years to come, you're going to set them up. They are your long-term goals. Now, the next important thing you want to do is set up short-term goals. Now, short-term goals are like the keys to achieving your long-term goals. They are what you are going to be doing, and those smaller tasks that you are going to be accomplishing along the line in between the stages of achieving your long-term goals. For example, if you, like I said, you want to become a medical practitioner, you want to become a professional medical doctor, you will have to go and study medicine. Doesn't matter which area in medicine you want to be specialized, that is up to you. But you are going to plan, you're going to organize yourself in your activities that it will fall in line with your long-term goal. That means if it's going to take you like 8 years or 9 years to have a PhD degree in medicine, you are going to set up short-term goals that will lead you along the way, that you will take one step at a time, achieving and accomplishing each little task after the other until you can reach your long-term goal, what you have been aiming at. Examples of short-term goals could be like enrolling into a university. After you shall have enrolled into a university, the first thing, you are going to schedule yourself in a way that you will take all of your credit hours, carry all of the necessary credit, make plans that will help you and enhance your ability to be able to achieve the desired marks that will qualify you to move to the next stage one semester after the order. So when you do that, when you make those smaller plans, we term them as we term them as short-term goals. Why? Because they serve as a stepping stone to one stage and then the next. So setting up your long-term and your short-term goals, it's very, very, very important when you are planning a career. Now, before we go to like I said, the impact of career on society, I just want to set the basis. I just want to lay the foundation so that we all can be able to follow attentively and be able to benefit from the talk. There are people who they grow up and they already have in mind what they want to do and who they want to become. And there are other people in society who they just don't know how to go about doing that. And without putting in the proper mechanisms and doing the necessary things that one must do, if you don't know what to do or you don't know what you want to do, that is the first step to a failed career. So I list out a few, outline few evaluations that one can practice or one can do that will help you as an individual. That is, if you have not been able to decide what you want to do and you need help in doing that. The first thing you want to do, you have to do a couple of personal evaluations. Personal evaluations just simply means testing yourself in variety of ways that can bring out some hidden potentials and qualities and information about yourself that you are not aware of. The first thing you could do, or the first thing that person could do, is to take an evaluation in interest, self-interest. You must be able to evaluate yourself or get the help of somebody who will evaluate you as an individual to know what are your interests. Now, it is basically done by gathering information that relates to the things that you are interested in, the people, the activities, the objects that you are interested in as an individual. It's just basically gathering information on these things. And then you sit down and compare your interests to works of life that others are already practicing in areas. For instance, if you have an interest in things that are realistic or investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, or conventional, no matter what your interest may fall in, which category or which area, then you are now going to take that evaluation information data that was gathered by you or whoever you got the help from, and then you're going to look at them and go through them one after the other and see which one that really suit and that you really agree with. Then you can go on from there and begin to look at that path or follow that path as something that you want to do in life. For instance, I've mentioned investigative. If you are interested in things that requires or that has to do with investigation, perhaps you could work as a law enforcement officer. You could work as a lawyer. You could just work in area that has to do with local legal proceedings. Yes. Then the next evaluation you want to do is personality evaluation as an individual. You want to evaluate yourself to know what kind of a person you are. Because believe me, there are some people who are they're about 30 years, 35 years, they still don't know who they really are. Now, if you don't have this sense of self-awareness as an individual, it is very difficult for you to be able to pick a career. So you will have to evaluate yourself, do some evaluations to test yourself, know who you really are. Are you an extrovert? Are you outgoing? Do you really know how to get along with people? Are you able to work in an environment that has a whole lot of people and a whole lot of interactions? Because you don't want to go somewhere or work in a place where dealing with people becomes exhausting and burdensome. And the next evaluation or the next thing in personal evaluation is, are you an introvert? Are you just used to or able, or you're only able to work with just a few group of people, and maybe you're used to working remotely? So if you don't know these things, it becomes difficult. Sometimes you see people choose a career at the end of the day, they back or they back down because some of them, through ignorance and lack of self-awareness, they picked this career and then it became a failure. Are we following?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Then lastly, the evaluation you want to do, the next personal evaluation you want to do is you want to do what we call an aptitude evaluation, which means literally inherent ability. What are some of your God-given abilities? Now, why do you want to do aptitude evaluation? Doing your aptitude evaluation brings out some hidden abilities as an individual that you did not know you had in you. And once you discover those hidden potentials and capabilities and strength, it can narrow your search in picking or choosing a career, because you will pick something that at least you're better at. You will not just blindly pick something because someone told you to, but your strength, your ideas, your mentality, even your physique will agree with. So these are just basic evaluations that a person can do just in case he or she has not reached the stage or has not been able to make a decision on what they want to do in life or what they want to pick as a career. Now, let us go to some of the.
Hello, am I audible, Chief? Hello, am I
Hello,
audible?
hello.
Yes, you are. Yes, yes.
Good.
We are
Thank
getting
you.
clear.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We want to say welcome. Welcome to the exchange. Whatsoever you are calling us this time, we want to say welcome to the exchange. Today we have our guest in studios today talking to us on the importance of building your career in the society. So whether you are following this time, we want to say welcome. Just try to hit the share button for us as we bring more interesting topics onto these editions of the show. So at that point, I would like to raise some questions. I would like to ask the guests a few questions, probably before Aronika and Urito and other people can come there. You listen to our guests talking on the talking point today about career. So I want to know why it is important to plan your career and what time an individual can start planning their own career. What is the necessity? Why should we plan our career as an individual? Is there any possible impact? And at what time can an individual start planning their own career?
Well, thank you. That's a very salient, important question to this discussion. Firstly, like I said from the beginning, and I'm going to go back. Career planning is important. You must plan your career because career planning helps to place you and position you in society. It narrows your search in what to do as an individual, the trajectory you want to follow. When your career is planned, it prevents you from darting from one profession to another. The reasons why you see today somebody is practicing law and tomorrow he or she is practicing music, or he or she is studying to become a journalist, it is because people blindly and without plan jump into careers that they had no interest in, but because maybe they saw somebody or somebody told them, or maybe they witnessed a performance and then they became interested, even though they lack the passion. But if you plan your career, this is something that you are going to sit down, get the necessary help, take the necessary measures. Now, I'm not saying that when you plan your career, it is 100% success, but I can assure you that when you plan your career, when your career is planned, it is far better than the alternative. Do you know that? Let me bring this to your attention. Do you know that most people in life who do not plan their careers, do you know that most of the time they end up to be people who are specifically they are angry, they're frustrated, they're always irritated, and they're confused about what life is and how it is treating them? Imagine you're in a relationship with somebody, and then he or she wakes up in the morning and say, "We're getting married tomorrow," without prior discussion, without any saved finance, without proper planning and dialogue between the both of you. But let's assume you're in love with this person, and then you give in to go into the wedding. I'm just being practical. You give in to go into the wedding. Now, I want you to now use your personal imagination. Can you imagine the catastrophe that both of you are going to be walking into, even if the wedding ends or the ceremony ends in both of you being married? Can you imagine the catastrophe? Because nothing was planned, there are no orders, there are no, how can I put it? It was not exercised in discussion. You two did not come to a conclusion. Both of you did not give individual consent, but because of interest, you went into the marriage or you went into getting married to that person. It becomes a serious catastrophe. What am I saying? We live in a world that is contemporary, and everything now is mapped out. It is planned. It is planned to the extent that technology has made it so easier that even to take a journey from one city to another, it can be planned. Imagine if people are so focused and concerned about planning things to the extent that a journey from one city to another can be planned by what time to leave, what time to get to the bus station, what time to get to the train station, what time the first bus leaves, what time the next bus comes. If planning can come so low to such a level, why would an individual not see planning necessary in picking a life choice or a life's work or a life's career, something that you want to do for life? Doesn't matter how long or how short, but anything that is for life, it is something that must be given careful and keen thoughts and considerations. So planning career, it is not uniquely important, but it is crucially important, especially for the world we're living in right now.
Good. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good. So I think our speaker will come there. Monica can come there from there. Orito come there from Orito. Then we can get Steve also coming to with some questions.
Well, a very big thank you to our guest. On last week, we told our followers that career is a very broad topic, and today prove it because we are learning new things on the same topic. So I'm very, very, very grateful to our guest for such a knowledge. My question is gonna come from the attitude evaluation. So, how can a person discover hidden abilities? How is the entire process like?
Sorry, you were breaking in. Can you come back?
Okay, so I listened to the presentation. It was great, but I want to know for the attitude evaluation, how can
Okay.
a person discover themselves, the entire process of it? Can you explain that?
Aptitude evaluation. You want to know how can a person discover hidden talents or hidden
Yes,
abilities, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that exactly is the purpose of taking what we call an aptitude test. There are so many aptitude tests that are administered online today. You can just go online and you tap in aptitude, and they will bring you so many options. There are some you will have to pay, and there are some that are free. And you can also go and meet a professional, a career counselor. He or she can guide you and give you some puzzles that you can play, and he or she can give you some exercises that you can go through, and then he will evaluate you, because you are not able to evaluate yourself. You will not know what actually you're doing, because the outcome is unknown to you, unless the person you're doing the exercise with or the test with tells you, okay, this is what I wanted to see, and this is what you did, and this is what you should do, or you were excellent in doing this. For instance, there is one portion of the aptitude test. It is for um, a retentive, to test as to whether somebody has a retentive memory. There is this test online. I did it before, where you will click and you will log into the site, and then they will bring you series of flashcards. Now, when these series of flashcards are before you, they are going to be having words and pictures. So you will be given the time. You'll be given the time to look at the words and the pictures, and then afterwards they will be flipped over, and you will have to click on each number. Which picture is each number? It will be reshuffled, and then you will click on which picture is each number. So depending the percentage of those numbers, when sorry, those words and pictures that you will get right, it will determine the ability that you have as an individual to remember things quickly or adequately. So there are so many ways that are available today, most especially if you go online.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so
The orator. You can listen to orator. Would you have a question for the guest?
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Emmanuel. So my question is, what are some challenges in making the right career choice, and how do we overcome them?
well, I must say that there are lots and lots of challenges. We all face them. So many people, I believe, even you, as you're speaking to me, uh, you encounter some of these challenges. But I'm going to speak on few. I'm going to outline few, and then I will just tell you. Number one of the key, one of the most common challenges, sorry, that a person face when he or she is about to plan a career is indecision. Now, why did I say indecision? Indecision comes in when you or an individual cannot be decisive about what he wants to do in life. Today, you're thinking of becoming a doctor. Tomorrow, somebody told you, I think being a lawyer will really be nice on you. You know how to talk, you know how to defend yourself. I think you can be a lawyer. Then you start to think about becoming a lawyer. Then the next day, you went out and then you came home, you listened to a song, and then you started singing, and then somebody told you, you have a really nice voice. I think you will make a fine musician. And then you start also contemplating on singing. Now you have three choices that are placed before you. You wouldn't know which one you want to follow. And then it becomes a serious hindrance, because until you can pick one of these, you're going to have to pick something which is not only of your interest, but do you have the passion? Somebody told you you look good becoming a lawyer, but do you have the passion to study law? Do you have the patience to go through law school, to qualify, to pass the bar? You're a musician. Are you willing to go through the struggle? Are you willing to do the necessary voice training and exercises at the end of the day, you're stuck there. You have these three choices before you, and you don't know which one to make. And you were just trying from here. Like I said previously, you'll be darting from one profession to another. You'll be darting from one profession to another. So indecision sometimes can hinder career planning. The next thing is the lack of good advice. Like we're doing here now. People before us, our fathers or our their fathers before them, were not fortunate to have platforms, to have access to platforms like this that we have today. But despite all of the helps and the resources that are available to aid people in picking a career or planning a career, people still don't follow the necessary means or take the right advice. Some of them take advices from people that they believe in, even if they are not giving them the right advice. Like some people pick a career today because of their friend. Some people pick a career today because of a role model. So these are some of the things that could hinder or that can hinder or that can affect career planning. And one of the things also that can affect career planning is the absence of adequate financial empowerment. You may have a dream, but the lack of finance and certain resources to be at your disposal, it can also hinder how you plan your career. Because when you're planning your career, there are things you are going to do, there are pursuits you are going to go after. And it requires not just time, effort, and hard work, it requires money. So if you don't have the necessary finance, you find out that that is where most of the time you find out that this phrase, that this line comes in, cut your coat according to your measurement, which of course we all have the right to think big or to even think bigger. But when you don't have the necessary finance to support your big dream, most especially for those of us coming from that kind of a background where we will have to suppress our dreams and aspirations and limit it to the finance that is available at the point in time to help us or aid our education, it can also serve or it has also served as hindrances to our career planning. And then lastly, ignorance. Ignorance can also become a challenge. Some people about to plan their career, they don't even know what to do. Like I said, there are people out there who they are 35. They still yet have not decided what to do, not because they don't want to or they don't see it necessary, but they just don't know how to go about it. And because of that, it can also delay career planning. It can hinder them from planning their career. So these are just basic things that can hinder a person when he or she is planning a career. But what I want to say in regards to that and how these things can be tackled and dealt with, the first thing as an individual, you need to know that in life, obstacles in everything you do, especially good things, are bound to come. It is the obstacle that makes life interesting and challenging. So the first thing you need to tell yourself is you are able, you can make it, you are better, you are strong, you are smarter, you have what it takes. And the next thing you need to do to overcome that is to secondly discover what really is your fear. Are you afraid because somebody made you afraid? Somebody told you that getting a degree, a PhD degree in medicine will take you close to 12 years, and then you got afraid because you think that it will be a lifetime. So because of that, you were not able to pursue your dream? Or are you afraid because you don't have what it takes to pursue a particular career like becoming an engineer, are you really afraid? You need to discover it. And once you do that, you are going to have to stand up to it. Because you know why? All these people around today that we see, the CEOs and presidents, and just people of prestige who are well known today, who are well known professionals, who are professors, who are chairmen, and what have you, they all were at this stage. They were once students who graduated from high school without even knowing what they wanted to follow. I'm going to use this famous comedian as my example. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey originally, after high school, who is a college dropout, wanted to become a banker. And he tried it, he tried it, he tried it for all he could. And it was not just working. It was not just working. He had these challenges that he had to face. And then he switched. He left it all and turned to comedy. And today, Steve Harvey is on the list of the richest black people in the world. What am I saying? People face challenges when they are planning their career, which is normal, but you have to be able to stand up. Steve Harvey's fear was, who is going to believe him as a comedian? Were his jokes funny? Could he really make people laugh? Was it worth giving away all of his years in high school and up to the level he reached in college? But he stood up to his fear one day. He turned his back to everything and pursued his dream. And today, he is a success that I can proudly use as an example on this show. So challenges are bound to come. You just have to stand up to it because you are able, like I said, you can make it. You are stronger. You're tougher. And because of the experience that other successful people had, you can also have your own experience and share it tomorrow to motivate somebody.
Thank you very much. Whatsoever you are listening to us this hour, I want to say welcome to the Exchange Career Hour. This is time where we bring young people together to discuss career issues.
Is there a question?
If it's coming,
Are you guys getting me? Am I audible? Huh? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Hello? Okay, thank you so much, Evan. Thank you a lot. I'm very glad that you have come to share with us your expertise, your knowledge, and give a good advice and what people ought to know about career. Like we've been on this issue, we know it is a broad topic. It is something that we want many people to participate in it. Uh, my question has to do with those who want to choose their career in informal sector, not necessarily going to formal education level, or those who want to be a practitioner, a mechanic or a practitioner, or those who want to be professional footballers, or those who want to be musician, or those who want to do catering or plaiting hair. I don't know how they normally call it, hair braidings or hair hair dressing or whatever. Those informal career. I just want you to broaden our mind on it. If you see a child coming up, or if you see you have several children at home, and if you see that behavior, not everyone will be smart, or not everyone will be encouraged to go to school. Some people may want to go to informal sector. I don't know, what can you say about that? What the advice do you have for those of our sisters and brothers who do not want to go sit in a class to wait for 12 years, to wait for another 5 years, to wait for another 2 years, or to wait for another 3 years, or to become a professional or PhD holder. Because someone just told me offline right now, the person did not send a test here, that if I don't want to have a PhD degree and life is rational, I may want to be a professional footballer or I may want to go for hairdressing. And can you consider those things to be career? I say, well, I'll ask our panelists, our guest tonight on this, so he can share with us his experience on that.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed Sharif. Well, yes, I'd say yes, because career is not narrowed to people who have obtained, um, how can I put it, educational professions that were acquired through academic education. No, like I said from the beginning, career is a particular occupational area of operation where one has acquired the necessary um, skills and education that they can operate within that area and make a living in as much as they have the passion and the desire and they are happy with what they are doing, and that thing that they are doing it's capable to facilitate financially the life that they have envisioned for themselves. Once what a person does legally, that it's a trade that was learned, that was passed on, and it is well known by people that others have made a fortune from, definitely it is a career. For instance, hairdressing, like you mentioned, hairdressing is a career we have today. Um, in the Western world, there are so many well-known, famous, and popular beauticians today. We call them stylists. We call them stylists who are well known for designs and braids, and that is what they are making their living by. So, whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're a plumber, whether you're an electrician, whether you're a carpenter, whether you're a masoner, whether you're a mechanic, whether you're a driver, whether you're um, whatever work of life that you have taken interest in that suits your interest, and it is able to, like I said, to support the life that you have envisioned for yourself, it is automatically a career and it is considerable. The only thing, the mistake that I see that people make, it is the desire to excel. Now, if you are a mechanic, life does not restrict you to being just a mechanic who works in a garage all the days of your life. As an individual, we must, as a people, rather, as a race, we must be able to adapt and reject the life of complacency or the style of complacency. People say, as long as I can feed my children, pay my rent, get money to go to the hospital when I'm sick, assist one or two members in my family, I'm okay. Yes, you are okay. But it does not necessarily mean that you have to restrict yourself to that level. You must always portray the desire and mentality to grow. Now, why should people aspire to grow? When you grow, you leave a legacy. Legacy is the true mark of success in what a person does or what a person has done through his days on earth. And you can only leave a legacy when you grow and excel. and train other people into what you have learned and used to make a living. There are so many examples around us today. People who started something and it became a career, they did not just stop to it, they later on pushed on from point A to point B, point C until they reached the zenith of that identical thing. And then they made it a lifeline of success for others who came after them. So I want everybody listening to this show to understand that it does not matter. You do not have to necessarily become a CEO of a multi-million dollar company before you think it is a legacy. Even if you're a shoemaker, shoemaking has degrees, it has stages. You can start from making shoe by hands to go into making shoe by machines. I want to talk about there's an example here in this country, UAE. There's a famous supermarket here called Lulu Supermarket. Now, the main owner of the Lulu Supermarket was an Indian. He has died. Who came to this country, worked in the palace of the Sheikh, the president of this country, for over 30 years. And upon his retirement, the Sheikh built him that supermarket, small one, like a shop, like a grocery. And he named it Lulu. Now, that Indian foreigner who left his home and came to look for a better living used that one shop and formed another shop, then another shop, then another shop, then a supermarket. That today Lulu is across the 7 Emirates of the UAE. That is legacy. That is success. So it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter the career you have. You don't necessarily have to be a white collar professional before you think you can leave a legacy or before you can consider what you do as a career. You only need to focus on how to excel. Once you leave room and give yourself the little pressure that you need to grow, you find out that you will leave a legacy for others to follow.
Thank you very much. I want to say welcome again to the exchange. The exchange is a 1 hour 30 minutes program that brought to you on this day. On Friday, we're going to be talking, on every Friday, we're going to be talking about a career hour. And today we have our guest talking on the impact of a rightful career on the society. So today you're listening to him. The number is pinned on the screen. You can take that number and make your call, or you're going to make your contribution, ask the questions necessary by that you know is going to be answered by our guest. And before we take the line, probably I want to ask this to the guest speaker. Looking at our setting, right? Looking at our setting where we are, where we are from, Liberia, where we don't have necessarily, we don't have like compared to Western world where there before if the child reach the age of graduating from high school or graduating from intermediate or whatsoever the case might be, there can be probably a counseling seated to tell them to help them plan their career. So unfortunately in Liberia we don't have such. So it is important. My question is, it is important that our parents be involved with our career planning. If yes, why? If no, then why? Because most people want to understand because we are not being trained, we are not being taught as to what is our career, and our parents most of these days finance most of our goals. So I want to understand if it is important that our parents be part of our career planning.
Well, thank you so much. That was my next point I was about to address, and then coincidentally, you asked the question. Parents are an integral part or component of a child or children's career. Though in Africa, like you're saying, we don't have career counselors, and we don't have counselors in our school counselors that can help students with their careers. So the parents, they have a huge task. But sadly, what from my experience, what I have observed over the years, parents are not really in Africa. Let me restrict it to Liberia because I don't know how it works in East Africa. I don't know how it works how it works in other parts of West Africa. But in Liberia, parents are not really involved when it comes to the career of their child or children. In fact, parents are mostly involved with the marital affairs of their children than that of the career, the path that he or she will follow down the line as a career. What am I saying? Parents should be involved wholly and invested into the career planning of their child or children. But we come from a setting where our parents were not taught these things, they did not experience these things, so it has become a taboo or quite difficult for them to pass it on. Most people, most children from our country today, they are just pursuing careers that perhaps they have seen somebody pursued or somebody encouraged them that this could be looking good on you, or they just grow up into individuals who saw a particular area in life that they had interest and decided to follow. Now, this is my advice, and this is what I think should be going on and should be practiced in every home in Liberia and Africa and even the world at large. Parents must take full responsibility of their roles in the career planning of their child or children. Now, what are the roles of parents in the career planning or the career of their children? Number one, they are a support base. As a parent, you must see yourself as a support base for your child or children. Number two, you must be able to be an example to the kind of a person. You must be a moral compass to the kind of a person that you hope your child should become tomorrow. Number three, you must be able to support your child financially, morally, spiritually, emotionally. You must be able to support your child in these four ways and other ways that I did not mention. And the last thing you want to do, which is my last point, the last thing you want to do as a parent is trying or risking to pick a career for your child. No parent, in as much as every parent desires the success, happiness of their children or their child, no parent must risk picking a career, single-handedly picking a career for a child. You can suggest to the child or your children and allow them to be able to make a choice. Why would you want to pick a path that you will not follow, but another person will have to follow, taking into consideration that this person is going to bring his or her own family and he has a responsibility that awaits him. So, making a decision on what career to pursue should be 80% his or her choice and decision. And you, as a parent, can only contribute 20% aside from the supports that are listed that you must give to your child, because it is the dream of every parent to see their child successful and happy in life.
Let me come in there. Yeah, we. I don't know if we don't have a caller. Yeah, Melvin, I still going back to the formal sector where someone can go to school. I mean, I just try since last week. I've been trying to separate career, like what you dealt with it. You don't have to go to school and become a degree holder in physics or whatever. But I'm looking at our country, Liberia. You see, more people have career in art courses, accountings, economics, management, sociology.
I think we are losing. We are losing Mohammed there. I think we are losing him gradually. Is the internet okay, then? Okay, okay. We want to say welcome as our brother welcome. Internet want to say welcome to the exchange. Are you getting him? Is he audible? Okay, let's take this caller. Hello, caller. What is the name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Thompson Wendy. I'm calling from Dubai.
Okay, sir. Let me hear you there.
Yeah, I want to ask a question for the guest, and then I will proceed with my comment.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, the first thing I want to know, what is career? Yeah.
Okay. So can the guest answer your question and call back to proceed with your comments, or you want to proceed with your comments, sir?
Okay, just table the question when off he can answer, but let me just go with my comment.
Okay, sir. 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. From where we came from, Liberia, to just get a specific career is very difficult from both our parents and the settlement. If you become a professional person in life, it's very difficult for us. So you see people going this way, touching teams, and they will never complete it. Yeah, so for you to really get a career, like just by maybe let's forget about school, like for you to just come up from the street or anywhere to get a particular career is very difficult from our setting. Yeah, so like let's just assume footballer. It's very difficult for you to get a permanent, like sometimes when you want to go for practice, your parents will tell you, don't go, footballer are useless people. You get it? This is your career. You want to make this tie you down. So to get a permanent career for our setting is very difficult.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your point. Thank you for having you on the show. Thank you. So I think the guest listening to the question there. The question is, what is career? I probably believe that the color did not start following us from the initial stage. So to doing due diligence, I think our guest is going to speak from that perspective. And let me just make a follow-up questions to his questions, right? Doing as what is career, and our guest is going to speak to that. But my own questions from just what he said, what do you think could be, responsible for, because our major aim now we're looking at Liberia, right? The settings we are people in Liberia, 70 or 60% of our young people do not have a particular career. Like you said, you see somebody today, they are musician, tomorrow you see them, they are footballer, the next day you see them, they are probably in another field. What do you think is responsible for that? Chief, you can just unmute yourself, you are mute.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know. Should I address the question of the caller and before I come to your question? I think that would be okay. Let me address the question of the caller. Thank you, Brother Thompson Wimpia. Thank you, Brother Thompson Wimpia, for your question. You want to know what career is? Well, from the beginning of this show, I talked about that. I said career, it's a particular occupation or an area of operation in which one has acquired the necessary educational or vocational training and skills that are required, or more like an area of calling wherein a person has the necessary control and power to work within that area effectively and become productive. So you talked about you talked about uh, getting having a specific career. Coming from Liberia, having a specific career, it is very, very difficult. Well, that is something I would partially agree with, and will also give you the reason. I think it is in line with the question from our brother Elijah. I think it is in line with the question from our brother Elijah. So let me just talk about it. The reason why you see in Liberia, where we all come from, it is difficult for a person to have a particular or a specific career, to follow a single path in life. Here is the reason. Number one, we have a schooling system. We have a schooling system that makes us versatile, as they told us, that makes us versatile. We are given the opportunity and the challenge to study almost everything that is there to study academically in high school, without following or choosing a particular path to follow upon leaving high school. So that alone is one of the key reasons why you see people leaving high school, or even not in high school, people find it difficult to follow or pick a particular career, or follow a particular path, or choose to do to make something their life's work in our country, because it is just it is within in high school, at the end of high school, that you started looking at, okay, what are my grades in English? Are they okay? Maybe I could follow English. What are my grades in mathematics? Are they okay in mathematics? Maybe I could study the sciences, or maybe I could study physics. Am I doing well in physics? It is possible you could be doing well in physics, but becoming a physicist might not be your dream. It is possible you might be doing well in English, but becoming a student of art might not be your interest. But our schooling system does not allow us it does not set the stage for a person. You will have to make that decision after you shall have left high school. You will have to sit down, get on the drawing board to make that decision. And one of the other reasons why most people in Liberia don't have a specific career is because we are not noted for really taking up challenges when it comes to the academic areas of our life. Now, even though most of it is due to some of the crisis that we went through and the poor economic state of the country, most of the time we say those people who have graduated and have degrees, how far are they have they gone? What is what benefit are they getting from the country? They are not even working. They have gone back to the market to sell. Well, that is truth, but it does not necessarily mean as an individual coming up and you have aspirations and dreams because of what you have seen. A single person can make a difference. A single person can make a difference. But because of what we have seen, because of the practices that we see around us in our country, it discourages us, it makes us not want to take on the challenge to pursue, despite the fact that yes, it is going to be difficult because it has to be difficult so that you can tell a story that will be inspiring, just as the people that we are watching today all around the world. Some of them came from a very bad, bad and disorganized country. Some of them came from third world countries. Look at today. Um, Great Britain has a prime minister who is from India. Great Britain has a prime minister who is from India. India, you cannot compare the educational system. You cannot compare the economy of India. You cannot compare the um, the life status of the people of India to that of the people of the United Kingdom. But it does not mean that they are not going to take up the challenge to make a difference in their country. We as Liberians must be able to take up the challenge to make a difference. We must be able to say, yes, I can, I will, and I must make a difference in society. I must do something that will positively have effect on my country, that I will not follow the crowd. Even though, yes, it is challenging. We talked about obstacles. There will always, even if you choose not to follow a particular career, you are still going to meet up with challenges. The only thing, the challenges are not going to be one, they will come from left, right, and so forth. That's the reason most people, you will see them immediately. There's a challenge in this other area, they will move from there and go to the next area. Immediately another
Yeah,
challenge, they go to the next area. That is the
yeah.
problem.
Coach, I don't know. Just to add up to your stuff, but before adding up, someone is asking me, is motorcycling a career or a hobby? And if someone is doing motorcycling and he or she also have another way of life, that after cycling he goes to he goes to museum. According to him, he goes to a museum and also be like a receptionist there. Is motorcycling also career path or habit? Because he's kind of like contemplating which one he can stick onto. Coming from someone who is in Morovia currently, and he's talking about this is a job available now, but he doesn't know whether this is a career or is a habit, because he cannot have access to go online to participate. Please.
Well, it is like this. It's a two-way street because we live in a world now where we have access to um, the internet, giving us access to every corner across the seven continents of the globe. So we are informed, at least I can say we are informed about what is going on around the world. Motorcycling in the Western world now, because remember that career is just something that is set up by society, and that people who made legacy in a certain thing and their influence that thing can become a career. For instance, dancing. Dancing did not just from the old days, dancing was not a career. Dancing was just a sport. But today, dancing has become a career. There are schools for dancing, there are institutions, there are people who have made living from dancing. So on the international market, in an advanced country, in an advanced world, motorcycling, depending on how it is done, it can rise from being a habit to a career. There are people who are doing motorcycling race in some parts of America and Europe, and it is a career. It is where they are making their living from. They are training. There are schools, and there are schools for these people. But if we are going to come to our Liberian setting, I would not necessarily consider it as a career. I would say it is a side hustle. I would say that motorcycling in Liberia, it is a side hustle which can become a habit, but it cannot be a career until our country advances to a certain level where people start to use motorcycling to impact society and then create an institution that can leave legacy. Because without legacy, you cannot have anything that you will call a career. There must be benchmarks. So motorcycling in Liberia would not be considered a career. It is a side hustle. It can grow to a habit. Maybe you're riding motorcycle for 10, 15 years, and then in the near future you get yourself one bike that you can go do your own personal racing, and then it becomes your habit. But it cannot reach to a state of becoming a career.
Well, today's show is really interesting. Like, actually, I don't want it to end, but we gotta go. But the show is really
Of
interesting.
course, of course.
There's so much coming out, and our guest is just flowing, it's just flowing. So, do we have any more questions for our guest? If not, we have to let him go and rest.
Yeah, thank you, Aronika. I think we can ask our guests for passing comment. If there is no questions by the viewers and panelists, Orita, do you have anything to say? If nothing, Sharif, do you have something to say? If nothing, then we can ask our guests for his passing comment. Then the panelists can stay on the show also analyze the show because we have 1 hour 20 minutes into next.
Yeah, in actual. You get it?
Yeah, Orita, come there.
Okay, so I was like thinking when it comes to career planning, should our main focus be on the amount of money we are going to earn tomorrow, or it should be like I have passion for this thing and this is what I'm going to do. In as much as I won't be able to get much money, but I believe that this is what I want to do and I have to do it. Should our focus be on money, or we should focus more on having passion for that thing?
Yeah,
Well,
just for me to buttress the guest effort, I would like we it's better to focus on passion than to think about the financial entanglement attached to our career. Because if you decide or you choose your career based on the finance aspect, well, who knows? You may have a career in particular field or in particular discipline, but at the end of the day, you may not find it lucrative uh, that opportunity in your career. Let's say somebody can be. That's why sometimes it's also good to add up to update yourself always. Let's say maybe somebody can be an accountant. At the end of the day, she may not have an accountant job. She may have a job in different field. Uh, so if you decide to go there because of the finance, at the end of the day, that passion, that love, that desire, you will not be able to fulfill that. And once you choose a career based on the passion, based on the love that you have for a particular field.
Okay, and
Choose life to
to
that.
to tap that up, like Mr. Mohammed Sharif rightly said, making a career choice, though yes, making a career choice, building wealth. Now let us get this straight. Building wealth can serve as a motivator. Don't get it wrong, because you don't want to build a career that you will have to struggle to take care of your family, to meet your needs. You cannot build a career that only provides for you from hand to mouth. You have to take that into consideration. You cannot build a career that provides maybe tightly for you and your family, because life is not only about having your needs, but it is also at least about being able to afford some of your wants. So when you are planning your career, you should also consider your salary, the money that you want to be paid. And not just that, do you really you want to consider the impact you want your work to have in society, and you want to also consider the uh, the area in society that you want to work. Some people plan their career because they want to really influence and contribute immensely to society. And that is what most of us seek after. So when you are planning your career, make no mistake to plan a career that is going to limit you and limit your impact. But to wrap it up, like Brother Sharif said, you cannot necessarily focus on money. Money alone cannot balance the equation. The reason people have a career plan is because there must be a balance in life. You must have a career that gives you something that you are happy and well pleased to do, and that thing must also, that is the balance I'm telling you now, it must make you happy, and it must be able to take care of you and your family, not just your needs but your wants. Because if it makes you happy and it cannot take care of your family, life wouldn't be balanced. If it is taking care of your family and providing your needs and your wants, but it does not make you happy, you feel irritated about the job you do, you don't like the job, you don't feel like going to work, you will have to look for extra motivation every morning to wake up to go to work. It sometimes becomes burdensome. It affects you as an individual psychologically. It affects your family. It causes you to become mean to your co-workers, and sometimes disrespectful to your job. So when you are picking a career, make sure it touches a balance. It must make you happy, and it must be able to take care of you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Melvin. Thank you so much. That said it all. Please choose your career based on passion. If you don't have passion for your career, the money aspect it will discourage you, like you said. Follow your passion, follow the love. Because if you have passion, definitely you're going to be care for yourself. You're going to be care for whatever discipline you find yourself. Be it any field in life. Just have a passion for it. Well, for me, I must be grateful that we have a guest who has knowledge about career, who introduced the topic beautifully.
Us, then we're going to analyze the show for at least 5 minutes so everyone will come in with their point So let's ask the guest for his parting comments. Since there is no guest, let's say questions for now from our viewers and that of the panelists. So let's ask the guest for his parting comments. So what could be your parting comments, sir, and your recommendations? Some.
Well, as I painfully, let me say painfully, take my leave because the platform really is interesting, and I'm so delighted. I'm so happy. I feel honored to be on this platform. But like our sister said, let me see what's her name. Sorry, is that Veronica? Aronica. As she said, it must come to an end. Every good thing, and now we have to go. I would like to leave these few words to everyone who's listening to us today, young people and old folks alike. First of all, you should know that it is never too late to make the right decisions in life. You might have made the wrong choice, but as life is, I said it, life is not a calculated science. It's a trial and error. Even though it does not disprove the fact that we have to plan, but life is trial and error. So maybe you got it wrong the first time. You just have to take your time, consider your chances, consider your options, do your calculations, and shoot for it again. As you go on to plan your career, you should consider these factors. Number one, do not pick a career because somebody told you or somebody suggested it to you. Do not pick a career because it's going to pay you well. Do not pick a career because it is less challenging, it is less stressful, and do not pick a career because it is available. But pick a career because you have the passion for that thing, and you believe that with that thing you can serve society, you can give back to society positively, and it can also facilitate the life that you want to live. The worst thing you want to do in life is have a bad or make a wrong career choice. It's like baking a cake that you cannot eat. You are just going to stare at it, and for the longest, it will be before you until you can trust it and go back and gather your recipes and bake the rightful cake. So, with all this being said, I want to say thanks to all of you who are watching, wherever you're watching from. If you're watching from Liberia, if you're watching from Africa in general, you're watching from Asia here, you're watching from America, Europe, wherever. I want to say thank you for tuning in, and to our host, all of you. I am so happy to be on this platform to meet all of you. I say thank you, and God bless us all. God bless Mama Liberia.
Thank you so much again for this presentation. So now our guest is about to go, and we are going to conclude on this edition of the Career Hour. So I think I can start with myself, right, guys? I can start with myself. I can. Mhm. So a lot was learned today. Mainly where caught my attention had to do with the uh, attitude evaluation, where I had to ask questions. And it's interesting that I had no idea that it's so simple. I can go and do an attitude test. Yeah, that really caught my attention. So at least that's something that I'm going to do next. Yeah, I will still need to see whether I'm in the right direction. So I have to go into that attitude test to see whether I made the right choice. I'm doing the right thing. I have to confirm everything. Yeah, so my input onto this topic, uh for me, from my point of view, I think that the choices we make when it comes to the rightful career planning at on it it has a huge effect on our society. And like you give positive contribution to the community, the people around you. You help make the economic and your community stronger, because you're not going to be a liability. Like our guests talk about, you finding yourself, self-awareness, we talked about it last week. So all these things are important in our career, and it play a huge impact on our society. So to our viewers, we have to know that whatever decision you are going to make today is not only about yourself. You are not making the right decision, or the right career decision for yourself, because the society can be affected by whatever decision that you make, positive or negatively. So we have to be careful. We have to first firstly find ourselves, know who we are, what we want to do, and then we choose our career and make sure that it is done rightly, so that we can be a liability to society. We can be a negative impact on our economy, our community, and people that are around us. So I would like my panelists to give their input, and then we conclude on the show, because we have passed our time with almost 2 hours. So our panelists can come in on that.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Melvin. Thank you, brother, for treating the topic justly. This is what I expected. Our guest today, actually, he spoke well and he spoke lengthily with sense. We know many people have been affected due to wrong choice or wrong choices of career they have made. Like he said, people need to do aptitude tests. People need to test, like she also made comment on it. These are things that we have been affected greatly in Liberia. You complete your high school, you do not even know where to start from. You do not even do self-evaluation to know which subject were you good at, because you manipulated yourself, you manipulated your way throughout before you complete the school. So at the end of the day, you didn't know whether you were very good in geography, whether you were good in history, and that kind of lack of confidence in yourself to really move ahead. Some people, they might be good in geography, but at the end of the day, when they go to college, they find themselves in different field, just because their friend choosing a particular course and they want to be part of that particular course. If somebody is saying, okay, I'm going to college, I want to be an accountant because he or she wants to work in a bank, you do not know what motivated a person. Better before you choose a person career path, you ask the person thoroughly and know those reason why he or she choose to go in that level. If you have a passion, like our guest talk about the passion instead of money, don't take your career, don't go to career, don't become a Sushan person or way back or push career, or don't go to football because you feel like at the end of the day you're going to be like taking huge amount of money like Messi. You should have passion for it. Wake up early in the morning, practice, be uh, passion driven instead of focusing on money. Money will come. Don't put money before your career. And also the guest talked about counseling, and he said counseling it should start from home. It should not be a decision that our parents should make it for our children. Rather, they should suggest to the children and tell the children. These are things that actually he said are affecting us. Sometimes you come home as a child, you are the one doing almost everything for yourself, your own assignment. You are the one to do it. The other brothers and the other family members, they don't even pay attention to themselves, talk less of you. And the parents, father or the mother, they don't even have a time to look into children or the child or school materials to even know whether to give them the right information or right advice. Some parents, they can be educated, but they don't have a time. I don't know why they do that. They don't have right counselor to counsel them which career path they should choose. And today, our society is greatly affected based on that. And I must applaud our guests. He did well, and thank you. We hope to have a guest like this, and we want people to really participate. They should not be we the panelists always contribute and talk. They should be also our guests. They should come up with their questions. If we may not have answer to all of their questions, but at least we'll be able to give our candid opinions to that. And thank you to all my panelists, all the colleagues here tonight. We all did well. And this particular medium is educative. Like I always say to people, try to participate. And we say thanks to our owner caller today from Saja Belt, uh, Thompson. Thompson has very valid question, and thank you. We hope to get more participant, more caller next week. Thank you so much.
Rita, Elijah, you guys have to say?
Okay, so everyone getting me?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. For me, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So firstly, I want to appreciate the speaker, our guest, for that inspiring message. Oh, career planning is something that is very important to our lives. It's something that once we focus on tomorrow, our future is going to be well planned. So speaking of career planning and the importance, I think my colleagues have said it all. Something that we need to focus on. We need to take some things into consideration. We need to know what we want and how are we going to achieve it. It should be something based on like self-interest, something that you have passion for, not something that you want to do because I'm pushed to do this or because I have this colleague or friend of mine who is doing it. You should make up your mind. You should take into consideration that whatever decision you make today is something that you are going to benefit from in the future. It shouldn't be something that I'm doing because of today. Whenever you are planning your career, you think about the future and not focusing on the present. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity, my competent colleagues for the time, for constantly working together to achieve our aim of this program. I pray and hope that we continue to work together and move forward with love and unity. And I also hope that our aim of mentoring people on career planning be accomplished. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. I sat and listened to my co-panelists and that of the guest speaker. It was excellently said by the guest speaker and even the panelists. But I just want to highlight because of time, we have no time anymore. And he said something that I pick up very quickly, especially when it comes to the parents, involvement within the career planning. He talked about something the parents, yes, can come and help the child or whosoever that planning to plan their own career. The parent can guide them in the process, but not in any way to influence their career, right? Or choosing a career for them. For which, of course, I 100% agree with him because the child or the person who is planning that career is the one going to face the reality. So the father or the parents of that child may be thinking that, okay, this part of the career is okay for you, you should go and face it, but not understanding the person capability of handling what he or she have been given. So it's really okay. I hope our parents, our brothers and sisters, uncles who are supporters of the younger ones, I hope they don't infringe on their right by giving them a career and that would not actually in any way be suitable for them. So on that note, I want to say thank you for taking upon your time to be with us this time of the night. We want to say welcome to the exchange. Please help and share this show. So Aronika can pick up on there. Have a good thing.
Okay, guys. Like I said, every good thing must come to an end. The only difference is that we will be here again next week, Friday. So we are going to bring you more and more and more good things. And we are going to keep on educating you and bringing more interesting speaker. Like, to be honest, our speaker tonight was really, really great. He touched a lot of points and he hit every point. Like, all the questions were well answered. And if it wasn't for time, I guess he was going to keep talking and talking, and he was not going to repeat, but he was going to keep flowing with more good things. If you are just joining, welcome to the exchange, the career hour show. We see you next Friday. We're going to bring you more educative talk and career talks. So, to my panelists and thanks to our guests, we would like to take our leave now. Bye, guys.
About the topic matter, we will lay hands on it. So at this juncture, I want to say goodbye.